like to grow your confidence, influence others, or get your team to work across the silos? Well, you've come to the right place.
Hi, Tanya Finnie here from RedHead Communications. We help individuals and teams to develop powerful communication. In the modern global world we live in, we are surrounded by different perspectives. You've probably noticed how sometimes people just don't get you, or you just don't get them. Would you like to improve your communication and operate more efficiently? Maybe you are feeling stuck in getting to the next level. Greater cultural awareness will automatically increase your rapport with others. That increased rapport will lead to increased opportunities. What if I told you that you can get an edge in your life by increasing your cultural intelligence, grow your team to stand out and be more effective, and build happier, healthier working environments? Ask me how we can measure your cultural intelligence and get guaranteed positive results for you and your organization. Or let your HR team join one of our mastermind groups and learn skills to communicate across the silos and share a community of practice with practical, sustainable tips and tricks to take back and implement into your workplace, ultimately leading to increased communication, staff retention, and productivity. I truly believe we can make the world a much better place by growing our collective cultural intelligence.
We are celebrating culture and people coming from different places. I thought we need to get to know one another a little bit better, and it will be wonderful if you all walk out tonight with at least one new friend. Many of us in this room know what it feels like to have come from somewhere else, and what it feels like to greet different people and feel a little bit like a fish out of water. There's that honeymoon period in the beginning where you discover Tim Tams and all the wonderful things, and then there's a bit where you really miss everything from home.
Okay, all right. That sounds interesting. How do you go about measuring someone's cultural intelligence?
Well, there's a test that you can do, as you may be familiar with, or I'm sure everybody knows about our IQ, and it's normally a fairly set number that we measure as a child, and then emotional intelligence came about, and emotional intelligence is ultimately how we respond to other people's emotions appropriately. But emotional intelligence is also culturally bound. You may know how to respond appropriately to me because we're from a similar culture. But if I was from a completely different culture, maybe from Japan or from China, I may respond completely differently. And this is where cultural intelligence comes in. So cultural intelligence is measuring all of that diversity and how well you get on with that diversity, which could be ethnic diversity, but it can also be gender or generational, because there's all these little subcultures in each of those. And there's a test that you can do. It's an online test that takes about 20 minutes. And it spits out a whole bunch of data, produce about a 24-page booklet. And the interesting thing about the test is you can, apart from just doing an individual test, you can get 5 of your nearest and dearest to say what they think about your cultural intelligence as well. So you get a different baseline. So you get where your measurement came out, but then you also get what other people think of you, which could be at 2 very different spaces. But that obviously gives us a lot to work with as well.
The next wave will be the mental health wave. We've already seen statistics around this, and we already know that many people has been affected by the stress. The human impact of this is going to be enormous, and it's your job and my job to reach out to our community and to give a helping hand. This fear that we have experienced has changed the makeup of our psychology. And when we fear, when we're scared, our systems start shutting down and we increase our biases. We become more conformist and become less open to the stories and the opinions of other people. Those same opinions is like white noise. They're all around us and everybody has one. But that white noise, it washes down into our systems, into our souls, and it causes generational trauma. Generational trauma that we pass on through our genes to our children and our children's children. That's why it's so important to reach out. I am an explorer, an ex-game ranger. But like with all professions, you can't just go out there and the magic will happen. You need to spot some patterns. You can maybe go out to a waterhole and wait for the animals to arrive. In the same way that we can use these patterns of animal behaviour, we can read human behaviour and we can reach out to others.
It gives you a brief definition of cultural intelligence, but cultural intelligence is actually based on an academic model that's made up out of 4 different quadrants. And the first one is our drive. Now, your drive is your motivation. Now, we know that we cannot improve our cultural intelligence unless we have some motivation to want to do it. But we know that you can have bad motivation. And what I mean with that is it could be the wrong extrinsic motivation. It could be simply because you want to increase your return on investment. It could simply be because you think, oh, well, the well-being of my staff will be improved and I want my staff to be happy, so I'm going to do that. But we know it's better driven if it's from internal drivers. But that's the one caveat to growing your own cultural intelligence. The next quadrant is knowledge. And knowledge is often where companies get stuck in training. And that's when people come and train you how to hand over a business card, how to greet people. Do we nowadays shake hands, wave? What is it that we do? And this is all very important. However, simply by knowing that, you can't make assumptions, because how do you know that the person in front of you comes from a particular cultural background? You can't just make that assumption by looking at their facial features or the way that they comb their hair or wear a headdress or not. It goes much deeper than that. And that leads you to the last 2 quadrants, which is incredibly important. And that's strategy and action.
RedHead Communications, growing your cultural intelligence.